Welcome back to Money in Motion. Ready for a wild ride? Today we're diving into a story that could seriously shake things up in the stock market. The possible TikTok ban in the U.S.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy how much influence a social media platform like TikTok actually has. Reaching into stuff like cloud computing and even e-commerce, it really shows just how connected everything is in our digital world.
Okay, so let's try to break this down a bit.
Mm.
We've got the Supreme Court involved, a deadline looming,
Mm.
and a whole bunch of companies on edge.
Mm.
So for anyone who hasn't been totally glued to every headline, can you catch us up on the latest with this potential TikTok ban?
Sure. So the Supreme Court just finished hearing arguments about this law that could basically force TikTok to say bye-bye to the U.S. unless, of course, its parent company, ByteDance, sells off its U.S. operations. And the deadline for that, January 19th. So just a few days away.
Wow, talk about a high-stakes game.
Yeah.
What are the main arguments from each side in this whole debate?
Well, TikTok's claiming that this ban is a huge blow to free speech. But the U.S. government's firing back, saying, hold on, we've got national security concerns. They're worried about user data ending up in the wrong hands. And what's interesting is that the Supreme Court seems to be leaning towards upholding the ban, which kind of throws a wrench into everything.
So let's get to the exciting part. If TikTok actually gets kicked out, who stands to win big and who might be left scrambling?
Well, the most obvious winner here would have to be Meta.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
With Facebook and Instagram, they're basically the kings of social media.
Right. Imagine 170 million U.S. TikTok users suddenly needing a new place to go for their short video fix. We're talking a massive 53 billion hours of user time suddenly up for grabs.
Wow, that's a crazy amount of engagement.
Yeah.
So you're saying Meta's Reels is going to become the new TikTok?
Reels is definitely in a great spot to benefit from all of this, and the financial impact could be huge. We could be seeing something like $10.4 billion in ad revenue shifting away from TikTok, and a big chunk of that is likely going to Meta and Google.
Oh yeah, Google. Where does YouTube Shorts fit into all of this? They've been a major player in the short-form video world for a while now, haven't they?
Totally. They're definitely another one to watch. Along with platforms like Snapchat, Reddit, even Pinterest, each one has its own unique thing going on, so it'll be really interesting to see how they adapt and try to fill that potential TikTok-shaped hole.
So we've got a lot of potential winners here. Are there any companies that could actually lose out if TikTok vanishes?
That's a really good question. One that comes to mind right away is Oracle. They're TikTok's current cloud infrastructure provider. But what the financial impact would be on them if TikTok disappears is kind of a mystery.
So they could potentially lose a huge client.
Exactly. Some analysts are saying Oracle could lose anywhere between $480 million and $800 million in annual revenue if TikTok goes away. And that's definitely not chump change.
Wow, there's a lot riding on this decision. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the potential TikTok ban and its ripple effects, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Money in Motion. We've got more great insights coming your way. Okay, so we've talked about who might win and lose in this whole TikTok showdown. But what about the big question? Could ByteDance actually sell TikTok to avoid this ban altogether?
Well, it's possible. They haven't exactly been rushing to make a deal, but here's where things get really interesting. Some analysts are saying companies like Amazon or even Walmart might be interested in buying TikTok.
Wait, Amazon and Walmart? I'm having trouble picturing those two jumping into the social media world. What would be the motivation for them?
Well, for Amazon, getting TikTok could be like their secret weapon to finally figuring out social commerce. They've been trying to get into that market for ages. Think about it. They'd get access to like tons of TikTok users, and those users are already totally comfortable with buying stuff through social media.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you say it like that. But Walmart, their last try at buying a part of TikTok didn't exactly go so well. Why would they think they'd have better luck this time?
You're right about that. Walmart's history with social media isn't exactly amazing, but maybe they're seeing this as their last chance. The whole retail world is changing so fast, and they need to find a way to keep up. Acquiring TikTok could be a way for them to reach those younger shoppers, the ones who are super into tech.
It would definitely be a risky move for them.
Yeah.
So are we just talking about potential buyers here, or have there actually been any offers made?
There is this one group called Project Liberty that's kind of interesting. They've said they want to buy TikTok. It's led by billionaire Frank McCourt and has backing from Kevin O'Leary, from Shark Tank.
Oh, wow, no, that's a twist. A Shark Tank star trying to buy TikTok. Do we know how much they're offering?
Nope, that's the thing. They've kept the bid amount secret, so everyone's just guessing.
This just keeps getting more interesting.
Yeah.
This whole TikTok sale situation really shows the power struggles going on in the tech world.
For sure. What we're seeing is like a fight for who's going to be on top, especially when it comes to short videos. It's not just about entertainment anymore. It's about user data, ad revenue. And as we talked about national security, the stakes are super high.
Yeah, you mentioned national security, and that's been a big issue this whole time. What are the bigger implications here for data privacy in our digital world?
That's the million-dollar question. This whole thing with TikTok really highlights how much personal info we put online without even thinking about it. And that info can be used in all sorts of ways, some good, some not so good. This debate is making us pay attention to the need for more transparency and control over our digital footprint.
This is something that affects everyone online. Makes you think, what does it all mean for the future of social media and how we get our content online?
It's hard to say for sure, but I think we might see things getting more divided in the social media landscape. If TikTok goes away, other platforms are going to try to fill the gap. We might see more longer videos, more live streaming, or even a comeback for text-based platforms.
It's like the wild west of social media out there. And if you want to keep up with all the changes, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Money in Motion. We're here to help you understand it all.
Okay, before we finish up, I want to go back to something you said before about Oracle's potential losses if TikTok goes down. It makes you wonder, are any of these big tech companies really safe in the long run?
That's a great point. This situation is a reminder that even the biggest tech companies can be disrupted. The digital world changes so fast, and companies have to be able to adapt and come up with new ideas to survive.
Like they say, adapt or die.
Exactly. This whole TikTok drama is a perfect example of the big changes happening in tech. It's all about power data and the fight to be on top in a digital world that's constantly changing. Yeah, it really is. It's a wild world out there in tech land. Before we wrap things up today, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. You know, this whole thing with TikTok, it really makes you wonder about the future of social media. What does it tell us about how we share and get information online? Are we moving towards a world where everyone's just in their own little bubble?
It's a big question. Will the big social media companies start to lose their power, or will they change and find ways to stay on top? Will we be even more worried about data privacy leading to more rules, or even changing how we think about online identity? And what about governments? Will they try to control the internet even more, maybe leading to censorship or limits on what we see online?
So many questions. And right now it feels like there are way more questions than answers.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, this whole TikTok thing is a wake-up call. It reminds us that the digital world is always changing, and we need to stay informed if we want to navigate it.
Exactly. The story isn't over yet, and we'll be feeling the effects for years to come. We'll be watching closely and bringing you the latest insights right here on Money in Motion.
And if you want to make sure you don't miss any of those insights, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel.
We love hearing from you guys, so leave a comment below and tell us what you think about this whole TikTok situation.
We appreciate your thoughts. And a big thank you to everyone for joining us on this deep dive into TikTok, the stock market, and the future of social media.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Money in Motion.